All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch National Pension Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana and other projects in Gujarat today. Election Commission to review poll preparations today in Jammu. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu embarks on 8-day visit to Paraguay and Costa Rica. Russia suspends its participation in intermediate-range nuclear treaty with the United States. And in cricket, second ODI between India and Australia to be played in Nagpur today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana at Gandhinagar in Gujarat today. The National Pension Scheme for workers and labourers of unorganised sector was announced in the interim budget in February this year. Our correspondent has the details.
The aim of this ambitious scheme is to ensure old age protection for the workers in unorganized sector whose monthly income is rupees 15,000 per month or less. Under the pension scheme, each subscriber will receive minimum assured pension of rupees 3,000 per month after attaining the age of 60 years. This scheme is expected to benefit over 10 crore workers of unorganized sector in the country. About half of India's GDP comes from over 40 crore workers in the unorganized sector. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
The Prime Minister is also scheduled to visit Annapurna Dham Trust in Adalaj for the groundbreaking ceremony of a Shikshan Bhavan and a Vidyarthi Bhavan. Prime Minister will also address a Vijay Sankalp rally in Dhar district of Madhya Pradesh today and formally launch the BJP's poll campaign for the Lok Sabha elections. Here's a report from our correspondent.
Prime Minister was scheduled to address rallies at Itarsi and Dhar on February 15 and 16, but they were cancelled in the wake of the Pulwama terror attack. According to official information, the Prime Minister will come to Indore by special aircraft this afternoon. From here, he will leave by helicopter to a meeting place in PG College of Dhar. Strict security arrangements have been made in all the nearby areas including Dhar. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
The Election Commission of India ECI team led by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora is on a 2-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir to review poll preparedness in view of the Lok Sabha elections. Our correspondent reports that the poll team arrived in Jammu last evening after visiting Srinagar yesterday.
The Election Commission team led by Chief Election Commissioners arrived in Jammu last night. In Jammu, the ECI team, apart from holding similar meetings with representatives of political parties, besides civil and police officials, will also hold separate meetings with Chief Secretary BVR Subramaniam and Director General Police Dilbag Singh. R.K. Raina, AR News, Jammu.
Janata Dal United has said its alliance with BJP is only in Bihar and the party will contest the Lok Sabha elections in other states on its own. The decision was taken at the National Executive of the JDU in Patna yesterday. Later, JDU Principal Secretary K.C. Tyagi said the party decided to contest the Lok Sabha elections separately in Lakshadweep and northeastern states. The National Green Tribunal has directed the Election Commission, the Centre and the Central Pollution Control Board to convene a meeting to consider whether to ban the use of campaigning material made of plastic during elections. A bench headed by NGT Chairperson Justice Adarsh Kumar Goel directed the Election Commission, Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and CPCB to convene a meeting at the earliest, preferably within 1 week. One terrorist has been killed in an ongoing gunfight between terrorist and joint forces at Naik Mohalla Tral in South Kashmir's Pulwama district. DGP Dilbag Singh told AIR that the operation is in progress. Meanwhile, mobile internet services have been snapped in the town. Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says 35,000 crore rupees have been released to be disbursed under the One Rank One pension for the defence personnel. Speaking at a program in Dehradun yesterday, Mrs. Sitharaman said, that soundbite, the minister announced that 3 hospitals of 200 beds will be built for defence personnel. She honoured the wives of the martyrs. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu embarked on a 2-nation visit to Paraguay and Costa Rica yesterday. The 8-day tour aims at strengthening bilateral ties with the 2 Latin American countries. Mr. Naidu will hold discussions with Paraguay President Mario Abdo Benitez. The visiting leader will interact with the business community and see a presentation on business and investment opportunities in Paraguay. He will then leave for Costa Rica. The Vice President will call on President of Costa Rica, Carlos Alvarado Quesada, and also participate in a high-level delegation talks with him. We have a report.
The visit of Vice President to these two countries is to advance India's outreach to the important countries in the region. It will provide an opportunity to enhance bilateral relations in trade and investment, renewable energy, education, healthcare, space, and people-to-people linkages. Bilateral trade between India and Paraguay has increased almost tenfold over the last 10 years and reached $334 million in 2017 and 18, which was $40 million in 2008 and 9. While bilateral trade between India and Costa Rica is $200 million. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has officially suspended the country's participation in a key Cold War-era nuclear arms control treaty with the United States. In a statement, Kremlin said that Mr. Putin signed a decree regarding the suspension of Russia's participation in the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces INF treaty between the USSR and the US in 1987. It said that the move was taken following a violation of the United States of its obligations under the treaty. Moscow and Washington have accused one another of breaching the INF treaty. In the United States, the death toll has risen to 23 after the country's deadliest tornado in nearly 6 years struck a rural Alabama community. According to the local sheriff, rescue crews searched for victims as dozens were missing in Lee County. Alabama governor has warned that there could be more extreme weather to come. Home Minister Rajnath Singh will today inaugurate the project, the Border Electronically Dominated QRT Interception Technique on India-Bangladesh border in Dhubri district of Assam. Border Security Force is responsible for safeguarding of over 4,000-kilometer long international border with Bangladesh. Indian Space Research Organization has launched National Yuva Vigyani Karyakram, a young scientist program for the school children to be studying at the 9th standard. Our correspondent reports that the Catch Them Young residential training program will be of around 2 weeks duration.
Government has asked scientific institutions in the country to mentor young minds in the area of basic science. The mantle is taken up by ISRO in this direction now. It has approached the chief secretaries of the respective states and administrators of union territories to arrange for the selection of 3 students and communicate the list to ISRO. The selection is based on the academic performance and extracurricular activities. Students from the rural area have been given special weightage in the selection criteria. The list of the selected candidates from each state and union territory is expected by this month end. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Uttar Pradesh, Kumbh 2019, the largest religious congregation in the world, concluded yesterday with over 1 crore devotees taking the holy dip at Sangam in Prayagraj on the occasion of Maha Shivratri. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will formally conclude the Mela this afternoon. Here's the report.
49 days long Kumbh Mela concluded yesterday with the auspicious Snan of Maha Shivratri, while devotees continued to take holy dip at Sangam. Till late night, around 24 crore devotees from across the world took the holy dip at Sangam. Many prominent personalities who visited the Kumbh included President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, PM of Mauritius Pravind Jugnauth. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will reach today at Mela area and attend the closing ceremony. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Kumbh Mela City, Prayagraj.
Minister of Culture Dr. Mahesh Sharma inaugurated Azadi Ke Diwane Museum at the Red Fort in the national capital. Created by Archaeological Survey of India ASI, the museum talks about the sacrifices of great freedom fighters. The museum is a modern state-of-the-art, informative and educational exhibition involving multi-sensory technologies to engage the visitors. In cricket, the second ODI between India and Australia will be played in Nagpur today. The match starts at 1:30 in the afternoon. The hosts have taken the 1-0 lead in the 5-match series and will be aiming for another complete performance and extend the lead. In the series open on Saturday, the Virat Kohli-led team ticked all the boxes to thrash Australia by 6 wickets, a welcome win after losing the T20 series 0-2. The visitors, on the other hand, will try to draw level. And now, for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Subhadra Ramachandran.
Thank you, Abhishek. IAF Chief B.S. Dhanwar saying that the IAF does not count casualties, but the airstrike at Balakot had hit the target is a story that is prominently covered in the front pages of the dailies this morning. Opposition chorus grows for proof of airstrike in Pakistan, leads the Hindustan Times. The Asian Age, quoting the IAF Chief B.S. Dhanwar, writes, "Not our job to count dead in Balakot hit." The Hindu courts PM Narendra Modi has saying will act against perpetrators of terror sitting across the border. Country has run out of patience and is ready to beat them in their own house. Afghan Defence Minister says Jaish Taliban behind the attack, writes Hindustan Times. Pakistan to implement UN curbs against terrorists, informs the Tribune. Heat on, Pak pledges UNSC curbs on terror but lets JUD get away, notes the Indian Express. Use common sense, Modi tells opposition on Rafael Bob, reports the Asian Age, adding PM hints more action to follow airstrikes in Pakistan. India hopeful of China's support for Azerbaijan, says the statesman. CPM and Congress to fight 6 Bengal seats jointly, informs the Asian Age. Whole simultaneous Lok Sabha Assembly poll, J&K parties urge Election Commission, writes the Hindu, adding, poll panel in state to get first-hand information on ground situation. Green polls, National Green Tribunal asks Election Commission government to mull ban on plastic materials, reports the Pioneer. Referring to the Naga peace talks, the Asian Age writes, Naga talks are in final stage, deal imminent. Rahul accuses Modi of lying on Amethi Ordnance Factory, notes the Statesman. And finally, Hindu Kush takes heed, loses 80% biodiversity. Well, the Pioneer report that the Himalayan region bears the brunt of urban development, hydro dams, exploitation of resources, climate change. And with that, it's back to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Subhadra. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch National Pension Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana and other projects in Gujarat today. Election Commission to review poll preparations today in Jammu. One terrorist killed in an ongoing encounter at Tral area of the valley. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu embarks on an 8-day visit to Paraguay and Costa Rica. Russia suspends its participation in intermediate-range nuclear treaty with the United States. And in cricket, second ODI between India and Australia to be played in Nagpur today. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.nic.in. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.